I'm Sharmila Devi. I am a group principal of Unikidsity, and I have been in this industry for the last 14 years of service, but I have been from a different industry and developed my passion through the introduction of my husband into the field. And there you go, as I started in my first year, I encountered in terms of classroom management, teaching, I even assisted teachers, and then those foreign teachers, I've assisted foreign teachers, and from there I learned about classroom management. And my passion towards in this industry, I've actually dived deep in, and I have moved on to learn more about it. So therefore I have ventured into learning this profession in a proper way by gaining qualification in it. So I started to learn about Montessori as a way of teaching, and I explored some countries like South Africa. In Johannesburg, went there and I did my practicum with one of the established school, and moving from there came back, and I was actually working with an international school, American international school, and learned more about how to go about in teaching. Observed many of the experienced teachers who have also award-winning teachers, and have learned how to go about to teach children in a proper way, and then have pursued my degree in bachelor's in early childhood education to learn about the pedagogical in terms of teaching. And the moment throughout the way we have actually decided we will move on to open our own school, and that's when with all the knowledge learned and experience that I have gathered, we put it together in Unikidsity, and I work it out. And ever since then, I do have a touch in terms of the curriculum, and not stopping there itself. I went on. I'm finishing up my master's in early childhood education, which is in deep of how the entire pedagogical for early childhood education works. Alright, there are many other aspects, but I'm stressing on the pedagogical part of it, so that the curriculum, you will know why curriculum is very important and is the heart of the entire school system. Alright, so in Unikidsity at this moment, we have introduced the core subject as of like Bahasa Malaysia, English, Mathematics, Science, and the core subjects are there. And besides that, the supplements as of like Art and Craft, Music and Movements. Alright, we have Art and Craft, Music and Movement, Public Speaking Skills, Drama, Speech and Drama. All these particular things we have also incorporated together with the curriculum, so therefore it supplements well for the children in terms of all their areas of domains. Alright, and then as you see, if we talk about curriculum, the first thing comes into the mind is paper and pencil, being the conventional type of a school. But here in Unikidsity, we have tried to move out of that scope. We have included play as a central of this pedagogical knowledge. And if you do notice, the main core of why we are different in terms of the curriculum development in the school, it is because that we pay attention on the developmentally appropriate practices. I would start with that. Developmentally appropriate practices. What do you mean by developmentally appropriate practices? This is one of the main terms we as in early childhood educators use when we line up our curriculums for the children, the lessons for the children. So developmentally appropriate practices, it starts all with the founder of how they want to line up the objective, the mission for the school, which we are specifically designing for the children. Alright, as you see our logo, your child is our priority. So every single move that we make, it's going to benefit them at all cost. Alright, and if you see developmentally appropriate practices, it's not only the core of the curriculum, but we do focus on the teachers. Alright, how do they implement developmentally appropriate practices in terms of curriculum? We make sure that we provide them continuous professional development in school, meaning to say there will be in-house training, where we update them on the current changes of the pedagogical in terms of ECE. ECE stands for Early Childhood Education. So we teach also the best method of how to manage classrooms, how do they manage in terms of assessments, and all other things that are related to curriculum. And besides teachers, we do pay attention in terms of parents. We continuously get support and seek for their participation in their children's learning. So that is developmentally appropriate practices. And besides that, most of the teachings that we do, it's all age appropriate, and as well as culturally and linguistically appropriate. We make sure of that. And we do notice that play, it's as I just mentioned earlier, play is the central of the curriculum, as what we say, play is one of the active form of learning which unites the mind, body and spirit. If you notice, this comes from National Association for Education for Young Learners. So this is what we always try to stick with, some of the prestigious affiliation who are related in early childhood education, and as well as all those literatures or researchers have proven methods of conducting the curriculum for young children. So if you notice, in terms of literature reviews as well, we pay a lot of attention in terms of that. And we're moving on. Besides the developmentally appropriate practices, we do focus on developmentally appropriate environment. If you do notice, in Unikidsity, our environments are well suited for the children to learn. Alright? This is like, though it is teacher-centered learning, where we encourage children to be student-centered in terms of their choices. They can make choices, they have the freedom to explore, to question and to even problem solve their whatever they encounters during the lessons. So this is how we be different. We allow student-centered teaching comes in the picture. So besides only the environment, okay, we do have developmentally appropriate materials in the school to complement the curriculum. If you do notice, all the materials that we introduce for the children are age-appropriate materials, are not only just focused on the age-appropriate but also on children's abilities. We start from concrete materials and then we'll move on to abstract materials. And if you notice, some of the materials that we teach them, it's usually from the most easiest one, and then we will move on to the most complex one. So in that way, we prevent frustration and foster success when they encounter the activities. And besides developmentally appropriate practices, as I mentioned to you earlier, developmentally appropriate environment, developmentally appropriate materials, I would like to touch on the developmentally appropriate assessment. That is the key ingredient success in Unikidsity. We assess the students in a much different way than any other schools, whereby this assessment doesn't come with a mark like A, B, C or 80, 90, 70. We do not mark them, we do not judge them, but more the assessments are based on their capabilities, or what are the strengths, what are the weaknesses. We always take the opportunity to assess them in a most friendliest way, in a most less stressful way, in a most less conventional way. So by that, what are we achieving? We are achieving way difference, whereby we able to see, as I mentioned to you, on their strengths and the weaknesses, so that it gives a lot of ideas for us as an educator to make sure we adjust in terms of the quality curriculum that we have created for them. So we make a lot of improvement along the way, and followed by this assessment's results, alright, whatever that we observe, we will use it to modify, alright, teachers' way of teaching, so that to make them to perform to their level, the best level, alright, their abilities. And then with this assessment as well, we foster a very good relationship with parents. We teach them, we guide them, we give them advice and tips of how to go about with their children's learning. So by doing so, we get very much personalized with each and every one of the parents in our school. And followed by, with this assessment, which is a very unique way of an assessment that we conduct in Unikidsity, we use it to identify children with some special learning, and we create roomways for early intervention. So therefore, we are being very honest and we are being very transparent in terms of children's development. Alright, and finally, with this assessment that we are conducting in Unikidsity, we take the pride to upgrade our curriculum day in and day out basis. Alright, so these are the areas of curriculum that we like to touch, and that's it. So for parents to enjoy, to parents to witness, and for parents to evidence the entire curriculum things that I have mentioned here, the only way for you to do it, we have opened up the door. Please come in and feel free to talk about it, and we are ever willing, to discuss on the entire curriculum development in our school. So thank you so much.